Fun video today. We're going to actually redo this website in AI. This is a website that I built a very, very long time ago using a plugin called Types and Views. Some OGs may have heard of that. It was incredibly powerful about 10 years ago. It kind of fizzled out. I don't even know if it's supported anymore, but just updating the site is a huge pain. I did a lot of work to get these things to look the way they do. So it's basically, we have show cards. Each show card has a reservation button, directions, and a link to a study guide, and then a link to more info. When you click on more info, you've got the information for the show. And then when you click reserve, it really doesn't do anything except bring you to a form that was built in Gravity Forms. And this form just collects a lot of different information as well as the shows. So you can see the shows, you have to select the show, then fill in the amount of people, and then you submit it. And that's really the gist of it. But updating it is truly a challenge because every time it has to update, I need to update the show, the pricing, all the information here. And then I have to go into the form and manually update all of these. And this could be multiple times, multiple shows. It's just a lot of work. Very easy to make a mistake. So we're going to take this concept and this idea, and we're going to create a full reservation application using AI. So let's go. All right, so we are at Claude AI. This is a new conversation. And what I like to do before I even start a project is get the prompt right. So I'll hop into Cursor. I'm going to tell it exactly what I want, and then I'm going to tell it to prompt it for Cursor. And then we're going to jump in the Cursor application. But this is always a good way to plan without burning through tokens or anything like that. So hop into your favorite AI platform and just tell it what you want. Okay, so what I basically did was I took the screenshots of the application and put them in here. Then in my description, I stated exactly what I wanted, the flow that it would do. I said I want to use React, Tailwind for the app, HTML, CSS for the header and footer so I could easily update, and then integrate some kind of SMTP to send out the emails. And that's pretty much it. I told it what needs to be on the admin. And I said, look at the images as to what to include for the form, the admin page, and the landing page. So my last output was this: offer any suggestions or improvements to this workflow. And then I said, for your output to this request, create a prompt specifically to use with Cursor in my local environment, and let me know if you have any questions that you need to clarify before creating the prompt. So I'm going to send this, and then we're just going to let Claude do its thing. Claude is going to actually look at the images, extract the data it needs to extract, and then it's going to take my prompt, and then it's going to start doing its thing. So you can see right now it has a couple of questions. So we're going to go through these questions and answer them. Database backend. What technology do you want to use for storing show data and reservations? I'm not sure yet. I'm going to say for now, let's just use SQLite. Mainly because if I upload this, it's a lot easier for me to access the MariaDB or SQL database, and I could always use that for this rather than a separate instance of Supabase, which I'm not going to do. Authentication, does the admin login functionality, blah, 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 blah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Functionality, added it shows, or with a simple admin panel without, no. Yes, it does. Need authentication to login. And security. We're going to put that in secure login as well. Reservation management. After forms are submitted via email, do you also need the reservation stored? Yes, I'd like to be able to access the reservations on a dedicated page in the admin. That'll actually save trying to find emails all the time. Payment. I see the form. Does this need actual payment processing integration? No, it does not. It will only take the reservations. Capacity management. Should the system track available seats per show, time, and prevent overbooking, or is that handled manually? That'd be a cool feature, but that's handled manually. That's handled manually. Study guide, should these be file uploads or just URL fields? File uploads and or URL fields, because every location is different. Let's go. Answer the questions and let's watch this thing do what this thing does. Perfect. So now it's going to create the cursor prompt, which is pretty cool. Theater reservation system cursor prompt. Now it's doing all the fun stuff that it does. And then we're going to take all of this. Look at that. It's actually getting pretty detailed. This might be too detailed, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this information. It's spacing it out. We're going to actually put this in plan mode in Cursor, because what that's going to do is it's going to take all of this information in detail, and then it's going to plan it according to the way Cursor is going to do it. Look, it even has the email reservation templates, which is pretty sick. Like, this is super thorough. Love it. So let it do that. We're going to copy this. Look, it's even creating an API. This might be a little too thorough. But that's all right. That's going to keep on going. All right, it finished. That's a super prompt. So let's copy it. We've literally got every detail in here. I'm going to go to Cursor, and then we're going to put that prompt in and build it from there. So let's go. All right, so we are in Cursor, and we are going to plan this out. So I'm going to create a new file. We're going to paste all of the information that was given to us from Claude. And you can see everything is right here, thorough. We're going to save this as an MD file, and then we're going to reference it, right? So let's save this. We're going to call this Claude plan.md. Save that. And now we have Claude plan.md. And then we're going to take this and we're going to say, take a look at Claude plan.md right there. And create a phased out plan to build this application. And that's literally it. I'm going to use auto because Sonnet just going to eat up all my stuff. So let's do that. Plan it. Take a look at this and let's go. Click that. And we're going to let this thing do its thing and then come back to see what it wrote. Now, like, the question is probably, why would I do this twice, right? I like using Claude. I think it gives me great ideas. It can ask questions. Not that this can't, but I already know what I'm going to get with Claude. So it's giving me the exact information that I need in order to do this. Because I could go to a Claude agent and have it, do it as well with the Claude code. But this is just my preference. So I do it with Claude first. I get all the details I can. If there's something that stands out that I don't like, I could go back and forth with Claude to kind of tweak it. Once I have that plan set, it's easier for me to go into Cursor, put that plan here, and then let Cursor start to phase it out as it builds it, right? So we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Like you can see, it has all these different phases. So it's not just going to throw everything at once. And not only that, it's actually going to take its time. Like, it's going to do phase 1 first. It's going to ask me to check, and then it's going to run on to phase 2, and then it's going to run on to phase 3. So I have control after each step, which is really what I like. And Cursor just kind of putting everything together just helps that out. If I was to just go into agent mode and then paste that whole thing, yeah, it probably would have built something, but it would have ended up skipping so many things. And then I would have to go back, see what did it skip? I'm not really sure. It's just a lot more back and forth. So this really streamlines the process and helps build this out the way it needs to be built out. You can see it even made the dependency between phases. So phase 1 is the foundation. Then I need the backend. Then you need authentication. And then it does all of this stuff, which is pretty sick. So this is the plan. We're going to start building this out. So I'm going to click build, and we're going to see the first iteration and how this goes. All right. Well, it looks like I lied a little bit. Yeah, so I thought it was going to say phase one, then stop, then phase two. It actually just built out the whole entire thing, which I guess is okay. So let's see what it came up with. At least it went through every phase and did everything according to, what was supposed to get done in that phase, which makes all the difference in the world. So let's load up the browser and check it out. And of course, when launching it, this is the stuff that we get. So not a big deal. You just run this through the application and just have it fix all of these issues. So let's copy that and say something like fix this and then pop it in and then wait for it to do its thing. All right, so we're off to a good start. The error went away, but it just says failed to load shows. Please try again later. So let's see if I could mess around and get this thing fixed so we can actually load the shows. Okay, so sometimes you gotta push cursor around a little bit. It didn't start the server, which is why I had the initial error. So it had two servers, the backend and the front end server. You can kind of see right here, this was localhost 5000 was the backend, and then the front end. And I asked it, why do you need two servers? And it just basically said it's for production, it runs better. The backend is gonna run the API request, manage the database, authentication and all that other stuff, and then the front end obviously is this. I also asked it to put in some demo content so I can test it out and see what it looks like, and it did, which is actually really cool. Like, it put in pictures and all this other stuff. Let me shrink this down so that you can actually see it more, and this is actually pretty awesome. So all I got to do is now update it with some of the styling, but look. Well, example domain. Wrong thing. Let's go back. I'm going to test this out some more, see how it works. I click on reserve. It shows the same form, which is great. And look, it's already selected. I'm wondering if it pre-selected everything else. Look, this is the inside page. Let's see math adventures. Let's see if I click on reserve, if it pre-selects it. It doesn't. So that's going to be some functionality that I'm going to add into this to make it pre-select. But I think just, for the minimal time that we just put into this, a couple little bugs just to get it working, this actually came out really, really good. Obviously, I'm going to have to see the back end, what that looks like. Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's look at it together. I'm going to show you the back end right now. All right, so I logged into the back end right here. You can see it create new show, manage show, view reservations. I could click on manage shows. I've got all the shows right here. If I want to edit it, I've got the form. Super simple. What's crazy is that this literally took me, oh my gosh, so long to do. So much work was involved. And, in less than, 2-3 hours, I literally rebuilt the whole site. Of course, I don't have all the WordPress stuff back here, but I think for the amount of time I spent on it, like, this is pretty amazing. So I could create the new show, have the form here. I've got the dashboard. When they reserve, I'm going to be able to see all of that here. And then these are the current shows, which absolutely blew my mind. Look, it even put in the images from Unsplash. So this is such a great start. And then to really tweak this into something that my client can use, that is a lot easier to update whenever there's show changes. One of the biggest things that I had to deal with was going to the front end and then matching up all of these shows with the form. But now you can see everything is already there. These are the shows, the price is already there, and then they can just pick how many people they want. And it even adds up the total, which was another thing that took me hours upon hours to get the JavaScript just right to make sure that I can add the totals. So thank you, AI. This is an incredible, incredible start to what's going to be a replacement for the site. And if my client doesn't want to use it, that's totally okay, because now I have a full reservation platform for other companies. This is really, really niche, but this is the kind of stuff that you can do with AI and vibe coding, and it's all right here. It lays it out for you. Like, that's pretty incredible. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. If there's anything else that you'd like to see, just let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this and see what we can really build with AI, WordPress, and let's see what the future's got. God bless. Take care.